compromise, but be very clear. There were lots of homosexuals in hip hop back in the 80s too. You know, that was you know, what's worse, you know, hip hop wearing skirts or hip hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood, that, you know, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny, which is your sexuality. So I hear what Jamar is saying, but we come from a very homo era of hip hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle.
Y'all, at this point, it might be easier to name a celebrity who Diddy didn't freak off with, because every day it's someone new. And now, an old video of Wendy Williams talking about celebrities involved in Diddy's naked basketball games is going viral. And these are people that you'd least expect. At this point, Wendy has been out of the game for a minute, but she was one of the first ones to call Diddy out way before Jaguar and Katt Williams ever did. And now that we're just getting a taste of the things that Wendy already knew, she decided to come out one last time, and this time she's bringing receipts that no one can deny.
Tapes, the world would shut down, okay? If I showed one of these tapes, I'm telling you right now, the whole music industry and Hollywood, it would just grind down like this. They're all gonna start pointing at each other like this, and it's gonna be bad. We've already set it up. We have multiple attorneys. We know how to do it. It's not my—
Now, word on the street is that our Hollywood uncles, and maybe we can throw in some aunties too, are crashing out. They are working overtime to separate themselves from the Diddy saga as much as possible, because somebody somewhere has been selling copies of Diddy's tapes to the highest bidder. Tapes that these people clearly star in and are doing the nasty. While Diddy and his personal recordings, some of the ex-workers he brought to join in on the freak-offs, made sure to walk away with tapes of their own. Because we all know that if it ain't on video, it never happened. And as the feds raided Diddy's home, some tapes also ended up getting out there and landed in the hands of those who didn't mind making it public unless the money was just right. There have been some talks that some of those tapes are being sold on the dark web, and that some celebs who are actually in the videos are always trying to buy them back.
He's selling his own evidence that would put him in jail against him on the dark net to the highest bidder. Why would he sell evidence of his debauchery and savagery? Why would he sell on the dark net his tapes of all just terrible? Wanna know why? Because he doesn't intend to stand trial.
Is he protecting people, or are people protecting him?
Oh no, he's selling it because he needs the cash. The last freak off tape that just got sold on the dark net, which I know because I monitor, went for $500 million. It had multiple stars in it. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, Drake.
An attorney came out saying that people are shopping these Diddy tapes around. The attorney also said that a woman reached out to her a few weeks ago, accusing Diddy of SAing her, and it happened back in 2018. And the client also claims that Diddy told her straight up that he was going to transport her across state lines and borders for you know what.
Recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because—
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is—
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became public knowledge.
Apart from representing her client, the attorney said that she was contacted by someone who was eager to get their hands on those tapes, including tapes showing grown men jumping around a basketball court donning their birthday suit.
Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic.
Now, Wendy Williams was actually the first back in the day to talk about these alleged basketball games when she was discussing how Tommy Davidson accused Jamie Foxx in his memoir of ripping off his underwear. According to Wendy, if the allegations were true, it was because Jamie appreciates a high, hard behind like the ones he saw playing naked basketball. And baby, Jamie Foxx was allegedly the most active member in these basketball games. I mean, the man attended and hosted so many Diddy parties that he got cocky and started talking about it only to end up in the hospital.
You know the whole Jamie Foxx thing that happened basically?
The stroke, the vax stroke?
Yeah, well, apparently it has nothing to do with that. Apparently, Puff Daddy or P. Diddy was organizing
Sean Combs?
naked basketball games.
What?
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
So Sean,
Before we go any further.
Admit you weren't expecting
Hold
that.
on.
Admit you weren't expecting
Before
that.
we go any further, are you trying to tell us that Jamie Foxx was injured in a gay naked basketball game?
So apparently, and these celebrities have all been paying like $1 million each per game.
but to who?
To Puff Daddy, because he's the organizer, to basically play naked basketball games. Apparently, he showed up and everyone was naked, and he's like, "All right, yo, what are you doing? You gotta get undressed." And he was like, "Yo, what, I never signed up for this. I thought this was like some exclusive basketball." Apparently, he was gonna come out with it or whatever, and then like that's what happened.
Maybe that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and yet.
Anyway, there was always lots of talk back in the day about Jamie Foxx and some of Hollywood's other leading men playing these naked basketball games as a form of quote-unquote therapy. Jamie even got in trouble with his neighbors once an old couple was traumatized because they caught a glimpse of Jamie and his pals shooting hoops naked. At the time, Jamie released a statement saying, quote, "To all my neighbors, I just want to say I'm sorry, and I'm sending gift baskets to you for all the wrong I've done. We used to play nude basketball for clinical reasons to release the soul. Part of my fence was down and I didn't know that the lady and her family were there," end quote. And even DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club brought up pictures from his naked basketball game, and Jamie got very uncomfortable.
Jamie Foxx's naked pictures.
Stop. She was checking out your penis. You got a nice penis.
What were you thinking, Mr. Fox? You strike me as a cool brother. Taking pictures in the bathroom with the cell phone is high school corny.
His daughter probably was like, "This is what the kids are doing."
Joke of the day! We got the joke of the day, baby! Oh man. Dang, you need to show your dingling. That's what everybody else is doing. Hilarious. Man. Hey man, we make mistakes, bro.
That's all it is.
You know what I'm saying? But as long as it wasn't cold and you know what I'm saying.
I try to tell y'all.
And if that still wasn't enough proof for you, there was a woman on TikTok who went viral talking about how she had heard industry insiders talking about all of these naked parties when she was just 7 years old.
My mom nicknamed Jamie Foxx, like if you take the O out of his name and replace it with a U, that's what she used to call him. But to his face, it's like a haha joke because he used to bang so many guys and girls in Hollywood. And he used to have these things called butt naked basketball games, okay? He would invite over a lot of like Hollywood's elite to his house for a basketball game, but it was men only. And they would be like, "Oh, we're just gonna get naked and play basketball." It's like, "Oh, haha, let's get naked and play basketball together," which is weird. And this happened in the 90s. So a lot of your like favorite celebrities were there, including someone who may or may not been married to someone who was drinking that lemonade. If you want to know like who was probably at these games, just look at like who P. Diddy and Jamie Foxx have been hanging around.
These naked basketball games and such were right before Diddy entered his Brother Love era, but he was still out here promoting quote-unquote self-love among his closest male friends, and as usual, Diddy allegedly recorded everything. And another one of the players in these games was allegedly Will Smith. What's even crazier is allegedly Will had one of his own mini flavor camps, just like Diddy did.
They're both usual. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them and their mentors. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed help.
And according to Jaguar Wright, when Will wasn't hosting these clubs, Dwayne Wade was the one hosting the debaucheries. And there was also a time when Dwayne's former business partner, Richard Von Haltman, came out saying that Dwayne was putting up a fake family persona, but in reality was a big old freak. The partner even said, quote, "I got sucked into doing business with him because he has a first-class media persona, the new Michael Jordan. He was that good guy, father of the year celebrity who had his head on his shoulder. I found out after a year that he was not like that," end quote. Also, quote, "They'd have these parties there 2 or 3 times a week. Rappers, Dwayne, and his entourage, women they'd pick up in clubs. They made it clear to me how their goal in life was to have sex with as many women as possible," end quote.
Energy transfers.
And I'm not saying that because of their trans daughter. I'm saying that because of the artist that I just spoke to not that long ago that got invited to a party at their house. Everything was cool up front till they went to the back and there was a bunch of old and young boys back there, all ass naked in the Wade house. So I find it funny that Gabrielle's sitting there talking about Boosie. Maybe you suspicious of him because of the shit that's happening in your house.
But it's not just Dwayne. There have been speculations that Leonardo DiCaprio, Stevie J, LeBron James, Jay-Z were all members of these wild naked basketball games. And now that these tapes are allegedly gonna see the light of day, all of these men are panicking. But the tapes that were leaked and being shopped around are not the only things that these celebs have to worry about. One of the mail workers who worked directly on and with Diddy handed over some tapes to the feds willingly. The mail worker signed one of those proffer agreements, which means that he can say everything he knows to federal prosecutors without having to worry about being prosecuted himself. Most of what this worker said had to do with Diddy, and he talked about how he got in contact with Diddy and flew to Atlanta for a threesome with another man and a woman while Diddy directed and filmed the whole thing. This man was able to get his hands on a copy and handed it over to the feds when they came knocking. Some of Diddy's tapes have already been flown out of the country on private jets, but some of them are still in the country showing things that happened as far back as 30 years ago.
The tapes. I can't control them. We already know they're shopping in Hollywood. We have proof of other people telling us. We actually didn't have that one they showed. So there's multiple out there. Remember, this has been going on for 30 years. So I'm not the only one who has them. I think I have specific ones that no one has. But so yeah, it's gonna be extremely shocking. We've got to be really just kind of one step at a time.
But you can confirm nor deny that what you claim to have.
And there's a high probability that the feds are the ones making these videos public, starting with that video of Cassie and Diddy from that hotel hallway that was released after Diddy's house got raided. And you already know the internet had a lot to say. One user said, quote, "Funny how most of them said nasty things about gay people and they were doing each other." End quote. And another, quote, "Naked basketball games as a form of therapy. LMAO. LeBron giving up the LeBum." End quote. These Hollywood uncles are sweating buckets now because no one knows when there'll be a tape starring them hitting the dark web, or even worse, being made public. Ciao, ciao, ciao. All we can do is wait and see what happens next. As usual, leave your comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.